Let's take a journey into the dark and divine. Encounter demons of every shape and size, from the classic horrors of folklore to modern fiction's original, terrifying creations. Witness the monsters born of cultural mythology, from the ghastly ghouls of Eastern tradition to the bloodthirsty beasts of Western legend. The beauties and horrors of legends, those that live within us. Welcome to Myth and Lores, a journey into the dark and divine. Without further ado, let's jump into another lore. The concept of demons appears across many religions and cultures, and their symbolism and roles vary widely. In general, demons are often seen as malevolent or disruptive supernatural entities. Still, they can also be portrayed in more complex or nuanced ways, sometimes as agents of testing, temptation, or even transformation. This is an exploration of how demons are represented across several religious traditions and their associated symbolism. Christianity. In Christianity, demons are typically regarded as fallen angels who rebelled against God, most famously Lucifer, Satan. They embody evil, temptation, and sin, acting as agents to lead humans away from the divine truth and righteousness. Demons are frequently associated with corruption, deceit, and chaos. Their purpose is often seen as testing or tempting believers, as exemplified in the biblical accounts of the temptation of Christ by the devil, Matthew 4:1-11, and the story of Job, where Satan acts as an accuser. Demons are often depicted in Christianity as working under Satan's authority to cause spiritual harm, illness, or moral decay. They represent the forces of darkness and oppositions to God's will. Exorcism rituals, for example, the expulsion of demons as performed by Jesus or later by priests, are essential to counteracting the influence of demons. Demons represent the struggle between good and evil and moral choice, and the eternal conflict between divine will and rebellion. They are often seen as metaphors for inner struggles such as doubt, temptation, or sinful desires. Islam. In Islam, demons are called jinn, supernatural beings created from smokeless fire. Jinn can be good, evil, or neutral, and have free will similar to humans. The most famous evil jinn is Iblis, who refused to bow to Adam and was cast out of paradise. Iblis' refusal symbolizes arrogance and pride, and he is often seen as the counterpart to Satan in Christian theology. Jinn can possess or influence humans, leading them astray from righteousness. Evil jinn may encourage sinful behavior or cause harm, while good jinn may help guide individuals toward faith and good deeds. The Quran describes how the Prophet Solomon had control over jinn, using them to carry out tasks for him. Jinn, including demons, symbolize the unseen forces that affect human lives. They represent the challenges of resisting temptation and sin and the invisible spiritual world that can influence humans. Iblis, in particular, symbolizes defiance against God's command and the destructive power of pride. Judaism. In Judaism, demons are sometimes referred to as Shedim or Lilim. While Jewish texts do not focus on demons in the same way as Christian or Islamic texts, they are references to malevolent spirits and forces. The Book of Enoch, not part of the Hebrew Bible, but is influential in certain Jewish mystical traditions, describes a group of rebellious angels, the Watchers, who descend to earth and interact with humans, often leading them astray. In the Hebrew Bible, demons or evil spirits can sometimes be seen as messengers or agents of God's judgment. For instance, God sends an evil spirit to torment King Saul in the first book of Samuel. In later Jewish mysticism, particularly Kabbalah, demons can represent the darker aspects of the spiritual world that one must overcome to reach higher states of divine understanding. Demons in Judaism often symbolize temptation, impurity, and the forces of chaos. They also reflect the duality of creation where evil and good coexist, and humans must navigate between them. Jewish demonology, especially in the Kabbalistic tradition, treats demons as manifestations of the forces that obstruct the soul's path toward enlightenment and union with the divine. Hinduism. In Hinduism, demons are often called asuras, and their nature is complex. Asuras were once considered powerful, divine beings in early Vedic texts. Still, they later came to represent forces of chaos, ignorance, and unrighteousness in contrast to the devas, gods, who embody order, wisdom, and virtue. The struggle between devas and asuras is a recurrent theme in Hindu mythology, representing the cosmic battle between order and disorder. Like demons in other traditions, asuras attempt to disrupt the divine order and lead humans astray. In texts such as Mahabharata or Ramayana, asuras are often depicted as antagonists who challenge the gods or righteous heroes like Rama or Arjuna. Sometimes, asuras are redeemed or transformed when they realize their mistakes and turn to righteousness. Asuras symbolize ignorance, pride, ego, and material desires that pull individuals away from spiritual progress. Their defeat often represents the triumph of spiritual wisdom over worldly attachments. In Hindu cosmology, demons can also symbolize the darker aspects of human nature that must be overcome to reach moksha or liberation. Buddhism. In Buddhism, demons are often called Mara. Mara represents not just individual demons, but the forces of distraction, temptation, and delusion that keep sentient beings trapped in the cycle of samsara, rebirth. Mara is sometimes depicted as a malevolent figure who attempts to prevent the Buddha from achieving enlightenment. In some Buddhist texts, Mara personifies the ego and attachment to worldly pleasures that hinder spiritual progress. Mara's role is to test or tempt practitioners, especially on the path to enlightenment. The most famous encounter between the Buddha and Mara occurs during Buddha's meditation under the Bodhi tree when Mara attempts to distract him with visions of desire, fear, and doubt. The Buddha's victory over Mara symbolizes the triumph of wisdom and mindfulness over ignorance and attachment. Mara represents the obstacles of enlightenment, desires, fears, attachment, and ignorance. Its defeat symbolizes the overcoming of the ego and the liberation from suffering. Ancient Greek and Roman traditions. In ancient Greece and Rome, demons often called daemones or daemons were not inherently evil. Rather, they were spirits or intermediaries between gods and humans with benevolent or malevolent forms. They could influence human behavior, protect individuals, or even cause harm. Some daemones were believed to be associated with specific aspects of life, such as health, love, or death. While not always evil, they were often seen as powerful forces beyond human control. In some mythological contexts, however, demons were associated with the dead or vengeful spirits who could disrupt the lives of the living. The daemones often symbolize the invisible forces in life that shape human destiny. They represent the concept of fate, the unseen influence of the divine, and the interplay between good and evil in the world. Across all these religious traditions, demons embody the darker, more disruptive elements of existence, but their roles are not always purely negative. In some cases, they represent the obstacles humans must overcome on their spiritual journey or the consequences of moral failure. In others, they may symbolize inner psychological struggles such as temptation, ignorance, or attachment. Whether personified as fallen angels, rebellious spirits, or cosmic forces, demons symbolize the ongoing battle between good and evil, light and darkness, and order and chaos. That concludes this lore. If you like what you heard, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next lore. Bye.